Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from David Onapudo. Hello, John and crew. For almost 5 years, they've been saying that Rian Johnson is going to be doing a new Star Wars trilogy of his own. And for almost 5 years, I know you've been saying it isn't going to happen. There's an article in IndieWire where for the first time, it looks like Johnson is admitting that the trilogy may not happen. What do you think of this? And is there a way it could be done successfully? Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, David. And look, yeah, I have no problems telling you I am a big Rian Johnson fan. I mean, the movies he makes are they're engaging. They pull you in. I am absolutely in love with his, I almost call it his Glass Onion cinematic universe, his Knives Out cinematic universe. I love these things. Man, I don't know. Glass Onion might even get one of those Best Picture nominations. I hope it does. I loved it that much. He's fantastic. Now, of course, you can't bring up the name Rian Johnson within the first 10 seconds, somebody wanted to yell, what about The Last Jedi? Hey, listen, granted, Last Jedi is a movie I have problems with. Some things I really love about it, but I also have some big problems with it. It was a big, huge undertaking to do that. Plus, now we know he walked into that without there already being an overall plan for the damn franchise. And, so it is what it is, whatever. But right away, they start talking about how Rian Johnson was going to be doing a new Star Wars trilogy that had nothing to do with the Skywalker saga. It was going to be a whole new different thing, all new characters, new areas of the universe set in the Star Wars galaxy, right? And they've been talking about it for a long time. I mean, even recently he came out and said, yeah, me and Kathleen Kennedy is just talking about trying to figure out when to do it because my next couple of years are booked up, but we're just trying to figure out when we're going to be able to do it. And David is right in the question because I have told you guys for years, this ain't going to happen. There's no way this is going to happen. Nobody at Lucasfilm has told me it's not going to happen, but I'll tell you, there's no way it's going to happen. Because as much as I love Rian Johnson as a filmmaker, and I can't wait to see whatever he does next. I haven't seen his Poker Face thing yet, by the way. But anyway, I'm dying to see anything he does next. But the reality is this. You cannot do another Rian Johnson Star Wars anything without chaos erupting amongst the fan base. That's it. All it's going to do is re-spark the debate and the arguing and the trash talking and all that kind of stuff. And there is no way that Disney wants to go into a brand new Star Wars project where everything is just turmoil and everybody's arguing and everybody's bitching and everybody's fighting each other and all that that's the type of stuff that they're trying to get away from. And no matter what Rian Johnson does, Rian Johnson could make the greatest Star Wars film of all time, and it won't matter. It won't matter. And it's that kind of circus that you have to avoid. It's not good for Lucasfilm. It's not good for the Star Wars brand. It's not good for Rian Johnson. So that's what I've been telling for a long time. This ain't going to happen. And I think they know it's not going to happen. Well, for the first time ever, it kind of sounds like Rian Johnson is starting to introduce the idea that, hey, maybe this isn't going to happen. This comes to us from the folks at IndieWire. Rian Johnson was saying the following. There's nothing like telling a story in this world, the Star Wars world, and then experiencing people truly connecting to it and letting you know that. It's extraordinary. So I'm hoping I get to do it again, but nothing is the end of the world until the end of the world actually happens. It's just at this point a matter of schedule and when it can happen, Johnson said. It would break my heart if I were finished, if I couldn't get back in that sandbox at some point. So before the verbiage was, it's absolutely happening. It's just a matter of schedule. Now it's, man, I hope I get to do it. It won't be the end of the world if I don't. Oh, it's going to be really heartbreaking if I don't. Listen, I think they have known for a long time. I think Rian Johnson has also known for a long time that this isn't really going to happen. But they have not wanted that to be the story. So I think they're very slowly, like drip theory, they're slowly tapering it into, it's not happening. And I think they know it's not going to happen. And by the way, Kathleen Kennedy ain't going to be there anyway. So he keeps saying that him and Kathleen Kennedy are trying. Kathleen Kennedy's not going to be there much longer after Indiana Jones comes out anyway. So yeah, I've been telling you guys for a while, this new trilogy thing isn't ever going to happen. Rian Johnson is now finally starting to give a little bit of acknowledgement that it's not going to happen. And I'll just look forward. I'll be really super excited to see what he does next and see what happens next with Star Wars. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you get another 3 months for free. Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home with eSIM, while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know I've been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say it is the perfect time to switch. I have absolutely loved using Mint Mobile, and like I've told you guys many times, I am now spending less than 1/3 of what I used to spend under one of the other major mobile carriers. And now with the whole buy 3 months, get 3 months free deal, it's even better. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. Or if you need a new device, for a limited time, get 6 months of free service when you buy a select device and plan. So guys, for a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months for free by going to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, Chris, you hear Rian Johnson's comments. I mean, David asks in the email, is there a way this could still happen? Is it tangible? Is it practical? Or what do you make of his comments?
I mean, hope springs eternal. Maybe he could, because I really do think there were threads in Last Jedi that would have been really cool to explore if, another filmmaker followed through on some of them instead of going, no, I don't like it. I also just want to point out, the chat here right now is very polarized. I love when people say Star Wars fans would never allow Rian Johnson back in here. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm fine with it.
Then you're not. Because I say everything is what
I'm
it is.
I'm a fake geek girl who doesn't know what she's talking about. There's different tastes for different people, And a lot of people did like a lot of the risks and choices he took with Last Jedi, and some people didn't. I didn't like a lot of the stuff that happened in Skywalker, right? That wasn't my jam, but a lot of you did. It's all subjective at the end of the day. Rian Johnson is an incredible filmmaker, an incredible writer who's done really brilliant work. If he gets to play in here, I think that'd be wonderful. But honestly, I just love this guy's attitude so much. Because fans have been pretty toxic about his film, and he still is just like, hey, I like what I did, I love this world, and I'd love to keep exploring it, and if I don't, I totally get it. I think that's a really, really just kind of consummate professional right there. What a guy. What a mensch.
Rob, you hear his comments. Is there a way this could still happen? Could this actually be a possibility, or does it just sound to you that Rian Johnson is slowly is the plan now unfolding to let the audience know slowly that this isn't going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Rian Johnson would even want it to happen. Like Zack Snyder, he's got his own gig now. He's over there, his own writer-director franchise, which is Knives Out. He's got Knives Out and Glass Onion since Last Jedi. Great deal with Netflix. Has financing to go make whatever he wants. Why step into... the thing about Star Wars is it's not just Rian Johnson as a filmmaker, it's Star Wars as a whole. Why would you want to step in there? Who's running that show? Where's that show going? If you're going to work on the TV side, I could say, okay, maybe you can do that. But I don't think, it's like other filmmakers have said, why would we possibly want to go in and make a Star Wars movie? What is it used to be a thing. It could have been a dream.
Well, Mission Impossible's Christopher McQuarrie, who I would have loved to have seen do a Star Wars movie.
Me too.
Remember, he came out and said, oh yeah, I look at that Star Wars fandom. I'm not going anywhere near that. Nope.
And
thank you.
I'll tell you something. I would much rather we're going to eventually have a quadrilogy of Christopher McQuarrie Mission Impossible movies. I think the world is a much better place with that quadrilogy than it would be with a Chris McQuarrie Star Wars movie. Because whatever happens, he and Tom Cruise, you've got a star and a director making stuff that's really cool and groundbreaking and fun. And I don't think that's possible with Star Wars anymore. The fandom, the studio... It would be very difficult to do something interesting. Thank God for Tony Gilroy. Whether you liked Andor or not, it was great to see an authorship, the vision of that. But I don't think this is going to happen. And I'll tell you something. I don't think Rian Johnson wants it to happen either. He's got better things to do. He's got bigger fish to fry that he created. His own unique. Benoit Blanc is his character. And they'll go make another couple of Benoit Blanc movies and have a good time doing it.
He's getting Academy Award nominations for.
Yeah, absolutely. So why not do that? What's really interesting is, as a fan base, I really hope that our vitriol and criticism doesn't make it so all we're ever going to get is AI-generated Star Wars stories. And that's coming. That's coming. Believe you people, we're gonna get stories that are AI generated very quickly. And you think the studios aren't gonna lean into that? They are, and I don't know where we're gonna be.
What's
there.
really sad for me to see, because you mentioned, Chris, some people in the live chat saying real Star Wars fans don't want him. You know, it's one of the worst fucking things ever. Gatekeepers.
Exactly.
People who point themselves. You know what?
Unless it's about Star Trek.
Listen, whichever kid said you're not a real Star Trek. Guess what? I know and forgotten more about Star Wars than you'll ever know in your life.
Yeah.
And guess what? There are things in Star Wars I don't like. You know, I hate the prequels. Right? Everybody knows I hate the prequels. But damn it, if you watched and liked the prequels, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm celebrate that. I mean, I hate them, but if you love them, that's awesome. Guess what? I love The Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens. There are people who don't. If you don't, totally cool. That's great. I like things that you don't like. I hate The Rise of Skywalker. Some of you like The Rise of Skywalker. Great. What this whole thing about gatekeeper thing, anybody who starts like, say you're an absolute fucking moron without saying you're an absolute fucking moron. You're not a real fan of this unless there, you just did it. I hate that. We all like and dislike different things. And guess what? You can be a Star Wars fan and hate parts of it. I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan my whole life. They suck. I mean, they're pretty good this year. They're not bad right now. But they suck. But I am no less a Toronto Maple Leafs fan and have been my entire life. And what happened to just not liking a movie? Like Morbius. Morbius is terrible, right? Well, just say, hey, I watched Morbius and I didn't like it. I think this part was really bad and this part was really bad. But then it comes, well, then I couldn't even tell you who directed Morbius. I don't know. Whoever directed Morbius, they beat children and they're awful and they suck and blah, blah. Like, what happened just saying, hey, guess what? Making movies is hard. Mm-hmm. Making movies is really hard. And we as fans can look at a movie and go, wow, I thought that was terrible. I thought the movie was awful. Okay, great. Now let's move on. But the vitriol that has become a standard part of fandom about how, well, I didn't like that movie, and now we're going to do character assassination on anybody involved, and we're going to, like, guys, just get over it. Like, if you hate the movie, say you hate the movie, say why you hate the movie, and go, now, God bless the people who made it and whatever. Maybe they'll do better next time. And let's move on and talk about other stuff. But this gatekeeping and all this kind of stuff, it's got to stop, guys.
They act like they're angry as if they funded the movie.
Yes, in which case I would get it. If they actually cost you money, I would get that.
Well, you know, John, I have a great love for what I like to say is the greatest low-budget Italian Star Wars ripoff of all time, which is, of course, Star Crash. It's not great, but I love it. I love it because there's more wit and verve and love put into that movie by the people that made it, Luigi Cozzi and his crew of people. And if you look at it on the surface, you could go, this movie's terrible. The effects are bad, the acting is bad, everything is bad. I look at it and go, this movie is wonderful, and I love everything about it because of what it is. It is exactly what it set out to be. And that's why I love something. And now the thing about Last Jedi is, and I always say this to people, it wasn't Rian Johnson that put Luke Skywalker in the position nobody wanted him to be in, which is on Achito hanging out doing nothing. Rian Johnson didn't do that. That was a card he was dealt, and he had to do something with it. I thought what they did with Luke in that movie, which might not have been what I wanted, but if you look at it for what it actually is, it's pretty interesting.
Yes.
And so it might not be the Luke I want, but it was the Luke I got. So if you look at the story and turn your perception and go, all right, rather than just hate this, what was he trying to do? And give him some credit for the work that was done. You might disagree with it, but it wasn't horrible. It just might not have been what you wanted the character to do.
And just at the end of the day, if you love something, why would you want ownership over it and to isolate it? You would want other people to love it as much as you do.
And can I add something too? There's also other mediums. If you're not getting the Star Wars you want from movies, maybe look into the books or the comics or whatever.
Read.
You'll find something.
Or watch StarCraft.
Or there's audio things. I mean,
or go back to the stuff you loved. I agree.
I mean,
exactly.
It's not just movies. I believe every director has the intention of making a good movie. Like there's no other way. Like there's no way someone purposely makes like something that
Dude, even
people
Tommy
hate.
Wiseau set out to make a good movie.
I just think we all need to grow up to the point that we can watch a movie and think, I really dislike that, not for me, and still at the same time celebrated that other people did.
Yeah.
It doesn't, to celebrate that other people like something that you didn't does not undermine you or your position. That you like something that somebody else dislikes does not undermine you or somebody else's position. It's just like, guys, it's movies. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think there could be some kind of way that Rian Johnson could actually still do this trilogy? I think just this own discussion has proved that you can't, unfortunately, because the fandom isn't mature enough to handle it. And I think you're just inviting a lot of controversy and a shitstorm of stuff if you do. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But how do you guys feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.